The city of Calgary is building a new hockey arena for the Flames, and while you would expect this to be good news, the project's been met with harsh criticism from all corners. But what's the true story behind hockey's most controversial arena? Stick around to find out. The big plan. Calgary has unveiled an ambitious plan to build a brand new arena for the Flames, a project that's already making waves for all the wrong reasons. The idea is to replace the aging Saddledome, which has been home to the Flames for decades. While the Saddledome holds sentimental value for fans, the city believes it's time for something bigger, better, and flashier. But wait until you hear just how big this plan really is. The proposed arena will be located in the Rivers District, a vibrant area in downtown Calgary that's already buzzing with redevelopment projects. City officials envision this arena as the centerpiece of a new entertainment district, promising to attract concerts, shows, and other major events. At first glance, it sounds like a win for the city, right? Well, hold that thought, because there's more to this story. The new arena isn't just a replacement, it's a statement. With a height of roughly 140 feet and a footprint that spans over 600,000 square feet, this will be one of the largest arenas in Canada. The seating capacity is expected to be around 18,500 for hockey games, with additional space to accommodate over 20,000 people for concerts and other events. It'll feature state-of-the-art technology, luxury suites, and even an exclusive club level for premium ticket holders. Simply put, this will be a palace for hockey fans. And it doesn't stop there. The arena will include expansive public spaces, an upgraded concourse with plenty of room for food vendors, and a massive jumbotron that promises to deliver crystal-clear replays from every angle. Outside, the city plans to create a plaza for fans to gather before and after games, complete with large screens, music, and activities. It's designed to be a destination, not just for hockey nights, but for year-round entertainment. Sounds exciting, right? Well, here's where things start to get controversial. The price tag for this shiny new arena is a jaw-dropping $1.2 billion, making it one of the most expensive arenas ever built in North America. As expected, that number has raised more than a few eyebrows around Calgary, and it's not hard to see why. Keep watching this video to find out exactly why this $1.2 billion project is causing all sorts of problems and controversies. Who's paying for what? Here's where things get tricky, and by tricky, I mean downright unbelievable. Out of the jaw-dropping $1.2 billion needed to build this arena, Calgary's taxpayers are footing over $850 million of the bill. Yes, you heard that right. More than 2/3 of the cost is coming straight out of public coffers. That's a massive chunk of change for a city still recovering from the economic impacts of the pandemic and facing rising costs of living. But wait, there's more. The owners of the Flames, a private group worth billions, are only contributing $40 million up front. Yes, $40 million. When you compare that to the $850 million from taxpayers, it feels like the scales are tipped pretty heavily in one direction, doesn't it? Oh, and let's not forget that this team will still retain full control of arena operations and reap most of the profits. Talk about a sweet deal for the Flames and a total ripoff on the public. As you'd expect, this arrangement has sparked some pretty heated debates. Some argue that the city should not be investing public money in a private business venture, especially one that already generates millions in revenue every year. They believe the Flames owners should take on a bigger share of the financial burden, considering they stand to benefit the most from this shiny new arena. Others point out that $850 million could go a long way in fixing Calgary's aging infrastructure, funding education, or improving healthcare services. What's even more frustrating is the lack of transparency surrounding this deal. The details of the agreement were hammered out behind closed doors, with little input from the public. Many Calgarians feel blindsided by the sheer scale of the project and the financial commitment it demands. And let's not even get started on the potential costs for overruns, which could easily push the final price tag even higher. So, is this really a fair deal for Calgary, or is it a lopsided arrangement that puts private profits ahead of public interest? It's a question that's left many people shaking their heads in disbelief, and the more you dig into the details, the harder it is to see this as anything other than a raw deal for the city. Now, if you've been wondering how Calgarians feel about this deal, let me put it plainly. They're furious. And who can blame them? From the point this plan was announced, it's been clear that many people in Calgary feel like their voices were completely ignored. Adding insult to injury is the perception that the Flames' owners, who are worth billions, are getting a free ride. Many feel that if they want the new arena so badly, they should be willing to pay for it themselves. After all, they're the ones who will profit from increased ticket sales, luxury suites, and sponsorship deals. Meanwhile, taxpayers are left holding the bag with no guarantee of seeing any real return on their investment. Against this backdrop, committing $850 million to a hockey arena feels like a slap in the face to many residents. Simply put, the people of Calgary are upset because they feel let down by their leaders. They see this arena deal as yet another example of decisions being made for the benefit of the few rather than the many. What do the Flames and city officials say? Now, in what many Calgarians view as a show of disregard, city officials are standing firm on their decision to move forward with Calgary's flashy new arena, and they're painting a pretty rosy picture of its future. They argue that this is more than just a building. It's a game changer. According to them, the arena will boost Calgary's economy in all the ways that matter. They say it'll create thousands of construction jobs right away, bring long-term employment opportunities, and attract the tourism in droves. On top of that, they believe it'll breathe new life into the city's struggling downtown area, turning it into a hub of activity and excitement. Officials also claim the arena will host far more than just hockey games. They're envisioning big-name concerts, trade shows, and major events that'll put Calgary on the map as a world-class destination. All of this, they say, will bring in revenue not just for the Flames, but for local businesses too. Restaurants, hotels, and shops in the area are expected to benefit from the increased foot traffic. The city's pitching this as a long-term investment with rewards that'll supposedly outweigh the sky-high costs. But here's where the cracks in their story begin to show. The so-called benefits of the arena are based entirely on projections and estimates. In simple terms, it's all guesswork. There's no guarantee that the arena will attract the high number of tourists or events needed to justify its billion-dollar price tag. In fact, critics are quick to point out that other cities with similar arenas have seen less than stellar results. So what happens if Calgary's shiny new arena doesn't deliver the economic boost officials are promising? You guessed it, the taxpayers will be left footing the bill for decades to come. The Flames' owners, meanwhile, are just as enthusiastic about the project. They've labeled the arena as essential for keeping the team competitive and relevant in the NHL. They argue that a modern state-of-the-art facility will attract top talent and enhance the game day experience for fans. They also claim it's a win for Calgary as a whole, with the potential to bring in bigger crowds and bigger events. But here's the thing, while the Flames owners are all in on this deal, their financial contribution doesn't exactly scream commitment. With only $40 million invested up front, critics continue to point out that they're reaping the rewards without taking on much of the risk. In the end, both the Flames and the city officials are painting a picture of opportunity and growth, but not everyone's buying it. The uncertainty around the project's actual benefits has left many Calgarians wondering if this deal is really as sweet as it sounds, or if they're being sold a billion-dollar dream that could turn into a nightmare. Will the people of Calgary revolt? Let's be honest, Calgary isn't known exactly for mass protests or fiery revolutions. But this arena deal has pushed more than a few buttons, and you can feel the frustration bubbling under the surface. Calgarians have every reason to be upset. After all, they're being asked to shell out over $850 million in public funds for a project many people feel they had little to no say in. So you might wonder, at what point do people start taking to the streets to express their outrage? Well, the anger started almost immediately after the deal was announced. Critics pointed out that the decision seemed rushed with minimal public consultation. To this effect, the outrage has spilled onto social media, where hashtags like Calgary Arena Scam and Not My Money are trending among locals. People are sharing memes, writing opinion pieces, and calling out city officials for what they see as misplaced priorities. Some have even started petitions to stop the project altogether. While it might not be a full-scale revolt, it's clear that Calgarians aren't taking this lying down. Even some community leaders and economists have joined the chorus of disapproval. They argue that the money being spent on the arena could go toward more pressing issues like affordable housing, education, or healthcare. The sentiment among many is clear. Why should public funds be used to subsidize a project that primarily benefits a privately owned sports team? Despite the outrage, the question remains, will the people of Calgary take their frustrations beyond social media? So far, there hasn't been a large-scale protest or rally against the arena, but the growing discontent can't be ignored. It's possible that as construction moves forward and as the costs inevitably rise, the anger could reach a boiling point. For now, it seems like most of the backlash is confined to online spaces and local conversations. But make no mistake, the people of Calgary are watching closely. They're keeping tabs on every decision, every dollar spent, and every promise made by city officials. As of now, the arena is set to open in 2027, but between now and then is more than enough time for things to get uglier, especially if the budget overshoots. Nonetheless, the debates will continue. People are still hammering on the matter on social media and talking about whether this is the best use of public funds or not. But what do you think? Is it wise or fair to ask the public pay as much as $850 million of the total cost while the Flames owner only put up $40 million? Tell us in the comments below. We are committed to releasing 2 videos a week. Like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more visionary builds.